Hello, everyone, and welcome to my energy forecast for the month of June using my lovely set of bones. So, as you can see, we've got a few characters on the map, and we're going to get into what this means for you in the month of June. So, as you can see, if you remember, this central circle means something that's anything that's inside it means something that's directly at play in your life as it is happening in this given moment. So let's focus on what's in the circle here. So we'll start with this guy here. It might be a little hard to see, but we've got an eggshell in there. And the eggshell is going to be quite literally coming out of your shell. So in the month of June, you're going to sort of find yourself being more of a social butterfly. You're going to maybe be going to events, meeting new people, sort of coming out of your box, out of your shell, as cheesy as it sounds. You're just going to sort of spread your wings a little bit and be more social, have more interactions with other people, and it's actually going to feel really nice. And I say this as not somewhat, quite a bit of an introvert, a bit of a hermit. Sometimes, social interactions coming out of your shell and stuff can be quite scary, but that's not going to be the case in June. You're actually going to really enjoy it. There's going to be just this easiness, a sense of freeness, a sense of just enjoyment of this coming out of your shell. So next guy we're going to talk about here, this is a stallion hare. And stallions, are often thought of as being wild and free, being really the masters of their own fate, I guess. That's not really what I wanted to say, but that's the words that are being given to me. So this is really a sense of you're really, mastering your own destiny and coming into your own. You're sort of taking the reins in your life and making it go the way you want it, which is ironic as it's near the bull here, which would be the constellation of Taurus, but the words that are quite literally coming through are taking the bull by the horns. So this is really what's going to be happening in June. You're just sort of saying, I've had enough of this crap, and, making life go the way you want it a little more, making lemons out of lemonade, all sorts of cheesy cliches. This is the month of stepping into your own power. So the next thing we're going to talk about is almost, it's sort of just barely come into the circle here. So this is a groundhog skull, and it's upside down, which is interesting. So this is what it looks like right side up. Very interesting anatomy. I'm not going to get into that, even though I'm something of an anatomy nerd. So this upside down groundhog, gopher, whatever you want to call it, gopher skull, I believe is actually technically what it is. But the gopher skull, it's very much about precognition, sensing what's going to happen before it actually does happen, just really being very aware of what's coming down the road for you, which is kind of funny because if you're watching this video, you're sort of, what's going to happen in the month ahead? You're sort of already a little bit of looking into the future and seeing, getting a sense of what might happen. So you're sort of on the right track watching this video. But yeah, this is sort of listening for signs, paying attention to them, and maybe even there may even be a bit of clairsentience happening, which is sort of seeing into the future. So you may actually be seeing some literal spiritual gifts happening. You might be getting messages from whomever, whatever the case may be, but there's definitely you're seeing things quite clearly this month. You're really getting a sense of what the future may hold. And the final guy we've got here in the circle is the action item. If you've been watching these videos, you're quite familiar with the action item. For those of you who haven't this may be your first video you're watching of mine, the action item is anything that's inside it is something that you can actively work to change in your life. So I find it kind of interesting that it's only partially in the circle. So you're working on things that may be happening currently, but you're also working for things that may be happening in the near future. And because there's almost nothing in the circle, the only thing we're seeing actually in the circle is this faintest bit of my seahorse here. So this is actually quite interesting. I'm going to say that this is quite literally a message to work on your relationship with your father or a father figure in your life, or if you don't have a living paternal figure, maybe this is a message to communicate with a paternal ancestor who may have passed on already. So whatever this means for you, maybe your relationship with your father or father figure is really great, then this is maybe a message to just affirm to this person that you love and appreciate them. If your relationship is maybe a little bit rocky, then maybe this is the chance to work on repairing things. If your paternal figure has passed on, this may be a message to find some way to connect with them or to honor them. It's interesting that with Father's Day coming up, this is quite poignant. And it's actually also interesting that in the previous month, in which Mother's Day happened, there was a message to connect with your maternal ancestors. So this is quite interesting. Another thing I'm going to point out here, this may be a little bit gross, but as you can see here, we've got one of my hairs here. And ordinarily, I wouldn't read that as being part of the message, but actually I'm being told that it is part of the message. This is a message that if you have a difficult relationship with a paternal figure in your life, and it's toxic, it's not good for you, it's dragging you down, this is a message that it's okay to let go of that relationship if it's negative in your life. We get a lot of messages from society that family, you can never cut family out of your life, that it's really important that you try really, really hard to, keep them in your life at all costs, no matter if it's negative to you. And I'm here to tell you that it is okay if you need to cut that person out of your life. There is nothing wrong with putting yourself first, your mental health, your physical health, whatever it may be. If this person is negative to your well-being, you are absolutely in the right to eliminate that negativity from your life. So, the next thing we're going to talk about here is sort of interacting with the seahorse. We've got a teeny tiny coconut here, and the coconut, if you're a fan of Monty Python, you'll be familiar with the bit they've got where it's something like, "Are you suggesting that coconuts migrate?" And I'm here to tell you that coconuts quite literally do migrate. The way that they, have become prolific is they float on the water and the currents take them to lands where they previously weren't, and they are able to proliferate there. So this is maybe a message that now is a good time to maybe do some traveling, to sort of explore the world a little bit, even just in the country you're in or the city you're in. Just get to know the places around you, the world around you a little bit better. And you might find that this is actually really good for you in some way. I'm not supposed to tell you what way this will be good for you. Maybe it's good for your physical health. I know people who really, really flourish when they go to a hot climate. Their physical health really does well there. So maybe this is a message to take a trip for your physical health. Maybe it's a message to take a trip for your mental health. Just, get away from things for a little bit. And maybe it's just for fun. But yeah, maybe look into doing some traveling. And the domino underneath it here, this is, dominoes are very much about luck, chance. And if you're anything like myself, May was really, really good to you. And this is a message that luck, that positivity, that good energy is going to follow you into June. So next guy here, this has come up a couple times before, is the Lynx Atlas. And this is interesting to me because if you've watched my previous videos, you'll remember that this is the bone that allows our heads to turn from side to side in a no motion. But I don't have the corresponding piece, the atlas. Yeah, this is the axis. This is the atlas. I don't have the axis. So that this is actually saying to me, if I did have an axis piece, it would be coming up here instead. This is just which is the piece that allows us to nod our heads yes. So this is, it's saying, I don't have the piece to give you the actual answer that I meant to give you, but this is the closest I can get. And it's saying this is just like a yes. We're getting a yes from the universe. So just, if you're wondering, should I do X? Should I do Y? This is a message that, yeah, you should. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and try. Nothing, well, I'm not going to say nothing, but, there's often a good chance that if we try something, we'll succeed, or it will lead us to something better, or something that may not look exactly like what you thought it would, but something that's different, and something that was meant to, something that will lead you to the path that you were meant to be on. So, take a chance, take a chance, take a chance. Sorry for the ABBA there. Okay, so next we've got here is my little starfish guy, if I can get my camera to focus on him. Yeah. Okay. So if you are familiar with the poem about starfish, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar with it, I suggest you look up the poem about starfish. But basically, this is about making a difference, no matter how small. So this is maybe a message that if there's a cause that you're passionate about and you've sort of been waffling on doing something, maybe volunteering, donating money, doing something for this cause, now is a great time to do this. Now is a great time to think of others, to spread the wealth, spread the joy, do what you can to help better the lives of others. Okay, next here we've got a chess piece, and in this case it's the queen. So this is another message from the universe. You're being given permission to move about as you wish, in the way that the queen can move in any direction, in any manner. She is sort of the primary piece on the board. You're free to move forward in life however that looks for you. So this is just another permission from the universe that you're loved and you've got a lot going for you, and the universe really loves you and is rooting for you. So the last two pieces here, my umbilical cord, that showed up in last month's reading, I believe. So this is, again, a connection to your maternal ancestors, but because it's actually leaving the circle here. So this is sort of a continuation of last month. If you didn't in some way interact with your maternal ancestors, there's still time to connect with them. Yeah, and it's just permission to, do that if you maybe meant to do that last month but didn't have a chance. So there's still time. And the final piece we've got here, this is a caiman scute. So a caiman is sort of like an alligator, and a scute is a bony plate that they have under their scales. So it's sort of like an armor. And this is a message that it's you don't need to do it just yet, but it's time to think about doing it for the future, really protecting yourself. And I'm just going to list a couple of ways. If you have questions about them, feel free to leave a comment and I can give you some more information, but I'm just going to list the ways now for the sake of time. Energetic pyramids, black tourmaline, salt, cleansing your environment. What else? Iron is coming through for me. That has to do with Fae. Again, I'm not going to get into it. Sage. Just protecting and cleansing yourself and your environment. All right, so that is my bone reading for the month of June. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Feel free to comment if you have questions. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you next month.